Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And it's always nice to see the SNP scared. And boy, are they scared. They are terrified. They don't know what to do. They're in a state of abject panic. Now, we all know this huge debacle over the ferries that still haven't been built, the ones with the painted on windows and things. Billions of pounds up the Swanee, never likely to sail but once, and that's straight to the scrapyard. Meanwhile, Turkey launches two in half the time. Well, the boss of Port Glasgow, David Tideman, I think it's pronounced, might be Tideman, David Tideman, he was unceremoniously and unexpectedly fired yesterday. Now, of course, he's going to walk away with an absolutely huge, go-away bit of money, in excess of £100,000, possibly higher. Taxpayer, of course, is paying for that. Why should the man screw up so badly he gets fired? Fine, but, don't want to make him poor or anything. Let's just make sure he walks away with an absolute rake of cash-payers' tax. Well, since this has happened, there is... questions have risen. Many questions have risen. And the SNP aren't answering any of them. And when you see who's asking the questions, it gets weirder. And now they've gone effectively into hiding. They're sticking their fingers in their ears and they're saying, la, 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 I can't hear you. Let's have a look. So, of course, everything is going to be fine. We know everything's going to work because they've got the best person on the job. The old Saturday girl is on it. She's bound to make it work. She is so good at everything she does. Apart from the odd mistake here and there and everywhere. Obviously, it's gonna drag on. It's not going to be fixed. She's totally incapable. She's over promoted. The child cannot deal with this. Shameless SNP evades scrutiny over Ferguson Marine shambles as Mary McCallan dodges Holyrood and the BBC grilling. So I understand not wanting to be questioned by the press. The gentleman of the Fourth Estate and all. However, I think you should actually be answerable to Holyrood. After all, it's a lot of public money involved here. Why shouldn't you be forced to stand and answer questions? Well, of course, that's what one of the SNP MSPs said. Unfortunately, he was overruled and his own party said, shh, don't say anything. Don't mention the war. The Nationalist Port Glasgow shipyard sacked their chief executive David Tideman last night, but refused to elaborate on why, with the SNP also voting down attempts by MSPs to ask questions about the situation. Now, it was, like I say, it was an SNP MSP who wanted to know. It's stunning, isn't it? They've absolutely hunkered down, tin hats on, hiding under the table, and hoping to God it all goes away very, very quickly, so they can get on with destroying the country. The SNP have been labelled shameless after evading scrutiny over their shambles surrounding nationalised Fergus Marine. The Port Glasgow shipyard sacked their chief executive David Tideman on Tuesday amid claims that the already long delayed ferries being built there are set to be postponed again. No one's actually working on them. Nobody is actually seen crawling over these things with a welding torch or a rivet gun. They're just there, rotting, rusting hulks, destined only to be scrapped. They'll never sail with a car inside them. He is also set to pocket a substantial golden goodbye. There we go, as the Scottish Daily Express exclusively revealed yesterday. This is likely to reach six figures, so at least £100,000, if not many more. The shipyard announced that it needed strong leadership as the board appointed a new interim team. No, it needs to be completely scrapped. Start again, but with people who can actually do the job they've said. Despite public money being utilised for the payoff and the millions upon millions, tens, hundreds of millions ploughed into Ferguson Marine, the Scottish Government have refused to answer pressing questions about the scandal. Of course not, because the answers are very embarrassing to them. A statement was released on Tuesday, but failed to answer why Mr. Tideman was fired. Nobody knows. Is it fingers in the till? Has he been caught? Who knows? Nobody's saying. Lord Inverclyde? Let's try again. Local Inverclyde nationalist MSP Stuart McMillan attempted to force a debate on the issue on Tuesday. But this was voted down by his own party, with the SNP administration whipped to vote against it. After this, well-being... Now you're having to whip people. That's bad. If you are having to whip people to vote against a discussion, it doesn't look good. The optics are terrible in this. This is definitely, we must never talk about this. We must mention that, he who must not be named, After this, the Wellbeing Economy Secretary, Mary McCallan, insisted she was happy to answer questions, but only when this is scheduled properly. In other words, let's kick it down the road and hope that everybody forgets. Fergus Marine was also debated on BBC Scotland's Good Morning Scotland, but the presenter revealed that the SNP claimed no representatives were available to discuss it. Rubbish. If you're out there to say, oh, welcome, we want to say thank you for Humza Yousaf being our leader for a year, they'd have been queuing up. Let me tell you, the only reason there was no one going is because they must not, ever talk of this. It's an absolute farce. 17 years of SNP government crashing around their ears. They know they're a spent force, and now they're all just trying to cover it up, hide all the facts, make sure nobody knows what the hell is going on. They've called this, Scottish Tories have called this lack of accountability astounding and shameless, and indeed it is. Shadow Transport Secretary Graham Simpson, he there. In the wake of David Tydeman's shock sacking as Chief Executive of Nationalised Fergus Marine, Humza Yousaf had to whip his MSPs, to vote against a motion by a local SNP member to enable ministers to be questioned on the issue. Having snuffed out that attempt to shed light on this issue, Mary McCallan had the audacity to stand up in Parliament and say she was happy to answer questions on Mr Tydeman's exit. But we learned this morning that the SNP vetoed her being interviewed on the BBC radio. SNP ministers must be held accountable, he says, especially when rumours are circulating that the delivery of Glen Sannox could be delayed again until the autumn and costs have spiralled once more. It's never going to sail. Just accept it. She can't do her job. She's being protected. She's being hidden from there because they know they can't trust her. Not that they don't trust her, they think she's marvellous. But they just can't trust her to not speak because she doesn't have the intelligence to see and answer the questions in a way that will be good for them. She'll just come and blurt it out. She's not very good at her job. She's not a very good politician. And she will be the sacrificial lamb once she's given birth to the anointed one's offspring. Allegedly. The new Messiah that she carries in her womb. Blessed are thee. I can do me Hail Marys, but I'm not going to. Don't want to upset the other side. I'm not Catholic, by the way, but my father is, which is why I know me Hail Marys. Anyway, we'll come up. What do I say? What do I add to that? It's unbelievable. It's not unbelievable at all, is it? It's all too believable. They are scared. They cannot answer the questions. They know that the answers are awful. They know they're in the hot seat for them, and they can't blame Westminster this time. They'll blame someone, but it won't be Westminster. It won't be Brexit. It won't be COVID. It'll be the Tories. It was the Tories' fault or something. Won't be theirs. Won't be that. Can't be theirs fault. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And if anyone ever sees a ferry in Scotland, well done. It's one of those rarest events. It's like three-legged haggis. You don't see them often, but when you do, you feel special. Bye.